Liverpool. Stevie Nicol was unavailable for selection. Just had too much to enjoy himself last night as far as crisps were concerned. So the defenders, well, there's a couple of them, and the goalkeeper. Look, Sam, number one's the obvious one, but number three is an interesting one in the position of Szoboszlai ahead of Trent and Virgil van Dijk. But the caveat I would say, and I think the article is excellent that you have written, and you've said a couple of years ago, look, Virgil van Dijk's the top defender at the football club. But now he's getting on a little bit, and there's a bit more mistakes creeping in. So the difficulty, I suppose, here was where do you put Szoboszlai? And you've chosen three. Why was that?
Yeah, you've tapped into one of the other difficult parts of this, which is comparing position groups, which can be really quite difficult. But I've gone with Szoboszlai at third, which felt a little bit high to start with, but I sat on it for a while and decided to resolve with it. Was basically the impact he has made so far this season has absolutely stunned me. And look, I've watched him play in the Bundesliga. I've watched him play for. He's not a mystery to me. No. But there's something about watching him right now for Liverpool and the work that he gets through for this midfield. He's running, must be 20 miles a game. Don't quote me on that. That's not a real stat. But it's two players running. It's two players running per game, plus the ball striking, the technical ability, the goals, the assists, the creativity. He is the driving force of this midfield. It's an all-new midfield. It could easily have gone completely wrong to start with or needed time to get going. It really hasn't needed long at all. And that's because this particular player, Szoboszlai, has been unbelievable. I've been so impressed. I accept that I may have got a tiny bit carried away here in putting him above Trent, but it just speaks to what an impression he's made on me.
Okay. Ali, Trent at 4 is the big talking point here. What do you say about that?
Sam, follow your instincts. You're right about Trent. Trent shouldn't be this high, so he shouldn't be number 3. So don't feel bad about this, because here's the thing about Trent. Jurgen Klopp has had to find a place for him on the field to hide him so that defensively he doesn't get exposed. If there's a player that you have to hide on the field, then he cannot be your most valuable player, and he cannot be high on this list. The one thing that I would say about the Liverpool rankings, if you will, I think Alexis McAllister is too low. He doesn't even appear in the top 5, because in my definition of valuable players, it's a guy that can give me consistent performances. And in the case of Alexis McAllister, it's not only consistent performances, but consistent performances in different positions in the midfield. He can play different roles for you. He can take on different personalities for you. He can be a defensive guy. He can be a distributor. He can be a guy who's 10 yards out in front of the defensive line, or he can be 10 yards from the attacking half. So it's a guy that can give you different things, and that, by definition, again, makes him very valuable. McAllister should be in the top 5. I don't think Trent Alexander-Arnold should be this high, simply because I cannot rate a player that high when I have to hide him in the field so that he doesn't expose us defensively.
Sam, you've got Alexis McAllister at 8. That's quite low.
I didn't think it was. I thought it was okay. He's had a great start to his life at Liverpool. And obviously we've seen his brilliance with Brighton and with Argentina. He is earning a spot in this midfield on merit every single week right now. And he's doing exactly as Ali said. He's doing it in 2 or 3 different roles, number 6, number 8, number 10, whatever you need from him. And it's been a good start. But again, does this speak to the quality of the squad that ranking number 8 for Liverpool right here at this early in the season? It's actually not a bad thing. I wouldn't say that he's ranked low. I think the top 9 here are really consistent. I had Curtis Jones in at 9. You could take 10 Liverpool fans and ask each one. 5 would tell you that Curtis Jones is amazing, and 5 would say they weren't. He's growing into a role. He's not quite so good yet. There's a lot still to lie on Liverpool's midfield. It's very difficult to read. Very difficult to read. And I don't think he's. I think hiding Trent is harsh. I understand that he's hiding his defensive weaknesses, but he's also accentuating his strengths and getting the best out of the best bits of his game, which is also a key part of management. And that's why Trent looked so good for the last 3 months of the season.
No, Sam, we're not going to go down this path. The reason that Trent Alexander-Arnold is not playing right back for Liverpool is because he is horrendous defensively. So they've had to find a different way for him to play. All right, if you want to make a case for Trent, go ahead and make a case for Trent. But don't say, hiding him was harsh. No, they had to change position. They had to say, listen, we need to find a place for him because he can play a ball forward and he can give us something in the attack, but he can no longer play right back because he is a big hole down that right-hand side. So if you have to move a player position because he lacks in that area, again, as a manager, I would tell you, look, I have to find a place in which he doesn't hurt us, right? I have to find a place in which he doesn't hurt us. That, I tell you, it has to be taken into consideration when you consider what a valuable player is. And I quite frankly don't agree with Trent Alexander-Arnold being this high. I think he's one of the reasons as to why Liverpool struggled so much last season. And to your point about the midfield, there is a difference in the midfield. Liverpool struggled big time last season because that midfield was all over the place. And Alexis McAllister being in the middle of that midfield has made a huge difference for the team. And that is part of the reason as to why they're playing so much better.
Okay.
Him, Szoboszlai, and the combination of those players. But to just dismiss McAllister and try to highlight Trent Alexander-Arnold, you know what that is? I tell you what that is. That is loyalty to England, baby. Nothing more than that.
Says the man from Venezuela wearing a Venezuela jersey, and we're all allowed to do that.
I'm not sure that's it, but would you swap the two? Would you have Alexis in fourth and Trent in eighth? Is that roughly where you would go with it?
Well, I don't know what's between fifth and eighth.
Six
and I don't
and
know
seven.
if it would be a straight swap. All I said is McAllister would be higher,
roughly,
and Alexander-Arnold would be lower.
Luis
You
Diaz
can
and
do
Andy
all the
Robertson
ranking
are
you
6
want.
and 7.
I don't get paid to do the ranking.
Time out here. Time out here. I think that's fair argument from both sides. I'm going to leave it to you, the viewer, to make up your mind as to who won that one.